am Casey Betzel, and I'm president of FRC. I am the person that drew the short straw last year this time. Um, with that, I would like all of our board members to please stand up so I can acknowledge everybody. I am super thrilled to be able to be leading this phenomenal group of ladies. It's just been, we've had a phenomenal year. It's been, get your butt up. Karen Stroud is in charge of all of our media and publicity, as well as being vice president. Natalie Shumbra, who is our treasurer, Winter Awards Banquet, she's not able to make it here tonight for family reasons. Bet, where's Bet? There's Bet. Bet is our secretary. Margot Savage, many of you know Margot. She's show secretary, which includes tracking points, cross-country coordinator, and membership chair. Sharon Cargill. Sharon is the cat herding queen. Our volunteer coordinator. She gets everybody together for shows, clinics, and anything else that requires manpower. Sue, can she be rated out? Yeah. Sue Mullen has taken over clinic chairs this year and done a phenomenal job getting that up and running again. Carol Foster, again, is not here tonight. Carol has taken over doing our newsletter, and she wears many, many hats, as do all of us, really. Candace, hospitality, so we have Candace to thank for all of our many amazing foods and beverages. She does all of the hospitality for shows, clinics, and education seminars. Sarah Tweed has been our educational seminar. We hadn't done anything for the last 2-3 years, and poor Sarah, I don't know where my head was, man. It was just like, great, your educational seminar, and didn't give her any leadership, nothing, man. Threw her into the deep end without even a life preserver, and she figured it out. So now we have, so I'd love to give these ladies a super round of applause. So joining us, the board, in 2023, we have Barb Crawford. Barb is going to be our special events chair, so she'll take over a lot of things. We have Edith Cahoon. Edith is going to take over doing our educational seminars, and we have Boots Flyer. Boots, there we are. Boots and Sarah are going to be working together to handle the volunteer coordinator position because, yes, it really does take 2 people. So my hat's off to those of you that have done it like all by yourselves. So to recap all things FRC in 2022, when we all met at the beginning of the year, our theme was like, FRC is like a phoenix rising from the flames. That the flames, of course, was COVID. So we had to resume in-person activities and kind of figure out, how to jumpstart the club and the everything again. So we started out with the 2021 Winter Awards Banquet at Highland Lake Inn, the Hunter Pace in February, which was at the Zordan's gorgeous Circle Z Ranch, and then we gradually moved into clinics and educational seminars. So speaking of which, the educational seminars, we started the year doing virtual and recorded sessions. Our first was reviewing the new eventing dressage tests. For those of you that don't know, dressage tests are they kind of chunk them out and then every 3 years or so do a whole new set. So it's the USDF as well as the eventing. And last year we had all new eventing tests. So Valerie Swigert, who's a judge who resides in Aiken, she did this online session. It was streamed live on Facebook, recorded, and the link is on our website. So if anybody wants to go back and see that. The second session was also a recorded interview. This time was with Nicole Watts on building writer confidence. Who doesn't need more confidence? We interviewed Nicole and her new program, Equizen Elevation, and we picked up a whole lot of tips and tricks to help with writer confidence along the way. And again, that link is on our website. Then we held our first in-person seminar since COVID. Oh, poor Sarah. So the first one kicked off with Tyler Raymar at TIAC, and he's the official farrier there. Tyler reviewed best practices of hoof care along with sharing knowledge and the benefits of new advances in technology and 3D printed horseshoes. Who knew that was even a thing, right? Um, Second in-person seminar was our most attended seminar of the year. That was estate planning. And a huge thanks went out to Gina Meredith and Carter Webb for sharing their experience and helping the club members think about the best way to put plans in place for our animals' care. I mean, whoever thinks about that, right? We all think about doing a will for our children, our family, but our animals need to be thought of too when we're no longer here to provide for them. Then to finish off the year, Casey Lemaster with the Polk County Cooperative Extension Office reviewed best practices for pasture management. And the super cool thing about that was the first day of fall, right? Good timing for that. So that was super to perfect timing to everybody to get their pastures in order for this spring. And then as a board, we choose what we think. We kind of brainstorm and we choose what we think. What would people like to hear? We would really like to hear from our membership. What do you guys want to learn about? Is it blanketing, what we should be blanketing, how to put together a first aid kit, anything. I mean, learn about the feet of trails. And you come up with the ideas and we can make it happen. So please submit your ideas to any of the board members by telephone, by text, by email. And you can also send the ideas to foothillsridingclub@gmail.com. So then for clinics, FRC hosted 4 in-person clinics this year, which was really awesome. We started out with the Beth Perkins jumping clinic. However, that didn't end up happening because we had to move the date. And so that one ended up in the long run being canceled. We had a Jody Lee's dressage ride test clinic, and that was a benefit for Caitlin Oikmos. We had 15 rides with a full waiting list. We had a Cavaletti clinic with Erica Jansen, who came all the way from California. That was sponsored by Pagan Gilman of Markel Insurance. We had 45 rides for that. And then our last was the dressage clinic with Button Baker. That went over a total of 2 days with 20 rides. And again, we had a full waiting list for that. And the proceeds from that clinic, Button donated every penny of it to Fence. So it's really awesome. We would also, she's unfortunately not here, but we'd like to give a shout out to Pagan Gilman of Lisa Seeger Markel Insurance. If any of you guys need to insure your horses, insure your horse business, insure your farm, she handles everything with a smile and makes it so easy, except writing the check. This year for 2022, we are proud to say we had an all-time high in our membership. We had 365 members. So yes, that is one a day like a vitamin. Getting down to the nitty-gritties, our financials. We are financially sound with a total of $45,005 between our checking, savings, and PayPal accounts. So what we do with membership fees, revenue from our events and shows, we proudly pour right back into our membership and community via shows, clinics, seminars, educational opportunities, and donations to organizations. As you all know, when you guys came in tonight, we asked you to vote for a human charity and an animal charity. So this year for 2022, the total monies donated was $6,786, and that's pretty awesome. How that broke down was tonight we will write a $1,000 check to Habitat for Humanity. We will write another check for $1,000 to Peer. We have donated $3,050 to Fence. That came from the July Benefit Horse Show as well as the Button Baker Clinic. We wrote a check to Caitlin Oikmos for $1,300 that came from the Ride a Test Clinic with Jody Lee's. We do an annual contribution of $100 every year to the Equine Land Contribution Resource. And then our honorarium from educational meetings, we donated $100 to the Kentucky flood animals. Do you guys remember the summer when Kentucky flooded? So we sent them $100. $100 to the Polk County Extension Education Fund. That's a mouthful. And $136 to Foothills Humane Society. to our shows, that's a huge part of what we do. Um, our show season got off to a really rough start this March. If you guys will remember the big storms that came in March, we postponed our first show due to severe winds and I believe it was a lot of rain and possibly ice. So we bumped that a week, which is what bumped the first clinic with Beth Perkins. Anyway, all in all, we host 5 shows every year, 4 of which offer combined tests. We do 2 cross-country schoolings, and with the onset of COVID and social distancing, FRC was forced to go digital with our show entry system. After trying 2 different systems, we discovered Startbox to be the best fit for our needs. Everything from managing entries, scheduling ride times, and more. It allows our scorers to score everything online in a timely fashion, and that way the competitors can check their scores shortly after their ride. Besides being part of the United States Dressage Federation Regional Schooling Show Awards Program, a lot of big words in this, wow. New for 2023, we're excited to be a South Carolina Dressage and Combined Training Association affiliate. So what does that mean to you, you may ask? Well, if you and your horse are current SCDCTA members, your scores at all FRC shows will count towards SCDCTA year-end awards in both the dressage as well as combined training categories. So you can always go to SCDCTA website to find out more information about that. And for those of you with off-the-track thoroughbreds, we are now able to offer the TIP, which is the Thoroughbred Incentive Program. And that is a special recognition that TIP offers to shows if, we register ahead of time. And so we're really excited because we have quite a few competitors that are interested in that, so getting their thoroughbreds recognized. So then there's our volunteers. So between shows, cross-country schoolings, clinics, and Hunter Pace, Sharon recruited a total of 83 volunteers this year. Those stoic individuals earned a total of $8,850 in club bucks, which is awesome because, of course, you can use your club bucks to pay for shows, clinic fees, membership, banquet dinner, and more. So to all of our volunteers, and I know many of you are here tonight, we would be nothing without all of you. So thank you so much. We publish 12 newsletters a year. Carol took that over this January. Janet Stone has been doing that for years and years, and Janet's health has prevented her from being able to continue on in that role. So Carol took it over and has done a fabulous job. We're always looking for submissions for our newsletters. So anything, even if you think it's insignificant, submit it to newsletters at Foothills. What is the email?
foothillsridingclub@gmail.com.
Yes. So we're always looking for newsworthy items, even if you don't think it's like anything special. We do.
Or if you think it's really cool, you're welcome to send it to us on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's easy too.
Yes. Erin and her technology, she's amazing. So speaking of Erin and publicity and technical things, we have perfected the online form for all of our shows, clinics, and other special events. So our winter banquet is coming up. We soon will have the entry for that, and that's all payable online. Our online social media presence, we've expanded it also into YouTube. We've gone live stream with our seminars when adequate Wi-Fi is available, and we've been recording and posting to our channels shortly after. We have a small yet growing library of our actual in-person seminars and online webinars, and we continue to grow our social media presence to help reach all of our members and audiences in our area. Keeping members up to date with email blasts, social media announcements, and newsletters has been a priority. And because some of our members are not receiving emails or newsletters, I'm one of them. We are working on a new system to make sure that everyone receives all FRC news and information. We work hard to give FRC an online voice, and we have achieved that through many posts and news alerts. Please remember to like us. Remember when like was just like something you did, and now it's like, it's a noun. Did you like me? Anyway, like and respond to our posts in order to help us boost our viewership. Forging ahead into 2023. Our changing times means FRC needs to continue to reinvent ourselves year after year. So to that extent, we will continue to adapt and reinvent how we do business in a changing world, utilizing cutting edge technologies. So the board is dedicated to continued growth of our club. So remember to join us for the annual winter banquet. Mark your calendars, January 14th, 2023, at the beautiful Highland Lake Inn in Brevard. It's really cool. You can get a room, stay the night, don't have to worry about driving home. Ticket information, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be on our website. So finally, in closing, and I'm kind of long-winded, sorry. Did you know there are 7.25 million horses in the United States? The most popular breeds being quarter horses and thoroughbreds. Sorry, Marsh Tacky people. According to the data bank for animal genetic resources, there are 699 living breeds in the world. North America only claims 26 breeds. Marsh Tacky is one of them. Tonight, we are lucky to have Caroline Knight, Jenny Patterson, and Karen Wheeler of the Carolina Marsh Tacky Association here to talk about their breed and enlighten us with that information. So we played the video before, and now I'll turn it over to you ladies for questions, answers, and more information. But before I do, don't jet out of here because as soon as these ladies are done, we have a piano, literally a piano full of raffle tickets. So dig out your raffle tickets, and when the ladies are done with their presentation and questions, we'll get to the goodies.
Yes.
He was our realtor for buying our farm.
Oh my
My
gosh,
husband
that's
used to
so
work in
cool.
the fire department. I made the connection when she said, like, wait a second, I know who she is.
He's done a lot of business, so that's
Yes, he
cool.
has, yes, he has. Well, thank y'all for having us out, I appreciate that. And see a couple friendly faces here with Boots and Keith. And have some common, their neighbors are former employers of mine and business partners with my husband. Boots was kind enough to invite me and one of my boarders to come over here and ride at Feta Trails, which was really, really nice. So, anyway, I'm Caroline Knight. I'm the secretary for the Carolina Marsh Tacky Association. And thankfully, two of my friends came join me tonight. And in the world of marsh tackies, like I said, we're a little over 500 live animals. And the three of us are in this room right here, all have half brothers. It's a very small site. I rejoined the board last summer, and I had been on the board previously several years ago and had to leave due to commitments. And when I got back on the board last summer, I made it a priority that I was going to track down as many of the marsh tackies, registered marsh tackies, as I could possibly find. So I have spent the past 16, 17 months, whatever, literally hounding people, tracking people down, putting genealogy skills to work, and have probably confirmed about 350 horses and gotten the registry updated. So, anyway, the marsh tacky is what's referred to as a land race breed. They're considered native to South Carolina because through isolation in a geographic region, they have been isolated long enough for their DNA to become unique enough that when it was tested in 2007 off the samples pulled from roughly 143 horses, that they were determined to be unique enough to be defined as a specific breed. That testing was done through Texas A&M. The Marsh Tacky Association was formed at the same time, and they opted to allow the Livestock Conservancy. I don't know if any of you are familiar with them. They manage heritage breeds of animals, ducks, chickens, cows, you name it, donkeys. And so they actually own the registry. The Marsh Tacky Association does not. The other thing that's a common misconception is that the Marsh Tacky Association actually owns some of the horses. And no, we do not. We are simply a membership-based association, just like you guys are. And all of the horses are in the ownership of individuals. There are no more feral marsh tackies running anywhere now. Does that not mean there's not some somewhere that have have minimal handling, yes. The Lowther farm, that was Mr. D.P. Lowther that was being interviewed there. He has maintained the largest herd of marsh tackies for probably the past 60, 70 years. He had the majority of that 140 horses when the Livestock Conservancy actually started looking for them in 2007, 2008. And the only reason the Livestock Conservancy actually started looking for the marsh tackies was because the Florida cracker horse people told them about the marsh tackies. Because if you do a Google search for state animals for Florida, it will pull up Florida cracker horse. And in parentheses, it says marsh tacky beside it. I have actually sold a house to a lady whose family had been in ranching in Florida for generations, and it came up, and she said, "Oh yeah, before we called them Florida cracker horses, they were all marsh tackies." So back before there was registries and the whole bit, they share a common lineage, common ancestry. It's all Spanish based. Anyway. The marsh tacky, honestly, the ancestors of today's marsh tackies, literally integral to the development of South Carolina. Basically, the common saying is that everybody in the Low Country had one in their yard, and they were because they were a free resource. They were roaming those islands. People would bring them over. They would gather them up. They would do the Gullah Festival races, things like that. And they are literally a living connection to the South Carolina history. They've played a part through all of it. In 2010, after 3 years of very dedicated stubbornness from one individual and fighting against one particular state legislator, the South Marsh Tacky was officially designated the South Carolina State Heritage Trust. That was signed into law by Governor Sanford at the time. The registry, of course, is based on those 143, 150 live animals, and nobody, for the most part, was writing anything down. So it was literally based on what people remembered from the families that had managed to keep small pockets of these horses and continue to breed and use them for hunting, whatever they needed them for. And with the Livestock Conservancy and the formation of the Marsh Tacky Association, the stud book, once it was formed, was closed, meaning that only the offspring of registered stallions and registered mares qualify. We do not register half Marsh Tackies. Interesting note on that is 2022 has turned out to be the year of the Marsh Mule. Yes. Yes, man of the year, who we, the three of us, very quickly dubbed Captain Jack Sparrow. Standard donkey, got in with the Lowther herd, and to date, I know of 6 marsh mules that have been born. I really should have thrown in a couple photos of them because they're the cutest little things you've ever seen in your life. But, anyway, there's actually, as far as I know, there's still 2 available in the upstate. I can put you in contact with them. Anyway, the marsh tacky, while very common at one point in time, and there was probably never really more than a little over 1,000 horses, because let's be real, those barrier islands could not have supported massive herds of these horses. Once the industrial age came around and nobody needed horses, to pull plows and things like that, it affected all horse breeds, because they moved into an industrial age and horses went from being utilitarian to pleasure animals. So they just, they kind of fell to the side, and thankfully, long-time Low Country families and people and the Gullah people cannot ignore their contribution to this. They continued to breed them and keep them, and as the islands got developed and developers didn't want marsh tackies destroying the beautiful, pristine golf courses, Mr. DP and others would go over there with barges, would round up these horses, put them on barges, and bring them to the mainland, and then keep whatever they wanted, distribute whatever they wanted. And honestly, if it had not been for Mr. DP and the Ravenel family in particular, we may not even have them today. There might be a few scattered here or there, but we simply cannot deny their contribution to saving this breed. Um, I learned about the breed in 1977. I'm a low country native, and crazy horse girl, begged parents for years, and rode to school with a friend. And in one of our conversations, she's like, I got this little pony that belongs to this lady. She leaves him with me because her daughters don't ride anymore, and she's looking to sell him. Well, I couldn't wait for Daddy to get home from work that night, because she only lived about a mile away. I'd never seen him before in my life. And he tried to be sneaky that night and made a phone call. Of course, that was before cell phone days. That was 1977, technically 1976, because I got him in January. And I need to say I overheard part of that conversation because I wasn't, getting too far out of earshot of him that evening. And about a week or so later, she literally rode him to my house from her house. I think she bawled her eyes out the entire time. He was a little bay dun gelding named Apache, probably not quite 14 hands. He came with a 14, 15-inch bighorn saddle, and my parents paid all $75 for him and the saddle. And I spent the next 23 years with the best friend I've ever had in my life. We learned to ride on him. We jumped 3-foot fences. We did everything together. I'd give $1 million right now to have that little gelding back in my life. Oh, excuse me. November the 11th was the anniversary of me losing him in 1999. Anyway, let's get off of that topic before I start bawling my eyes out. Anyway, so their numbers dropped dramatically with the age of industrialism. And they literally became one of the best kept secrets in the low country of South Carolina. If you didn't know about them, you didn't know about them. I've heard old timers say, oh, you should have tried to buy one 35 years ago, because people didn't, they kept them in these little circles. They hunted on them mainly. They make fabulous woods horses. My mare, who is in several of these photos up here, is 21. She's one of the foundation horses. She's one of the 150 that was found at 21 years old now. And she makes it quite clear. Her preference is to be in the woods, not to be in an arena. She will do arena work for me, but her element is in the woods. And she's proven that on more than one occasion, including forewarning me about a rattlesnake. But anyway, so the families that basically saved them understood their connection to history, appreciated their adaptability and athleticism, and continued to breed for their own purposes. Currently, we have reached 500 live animals at the moment. Typically run 13 and a half to 15 hands. There's a few that are a little over that, averaging anywhere from 800 to 900 pounds. We only have solid colors within the breed, no paint, no Appaloosas. All there is a Tacky right now, it's cute as a button. And duns and roans which are dominant genes. So if a horse has the dun gene or the roan gene, it will be expressed. It doesn't hide. So the dun being the most common, and a black, that's a Gruyere horse, and a bay, that's the bay dun, that's the honey color. And then of course in a red dun, you have the darker mane and tail and darker legs and stuff like that. The duns all have primitive markings. If you've ever seen one, they'll have the dorsal stripe, and other colors of horses like buckskins often get confused with a bay dun, but the stripe has to go into the tail, and you will have blonde hairs on other sides so that you can see that dun stripe continue into that tail. They'll have wither bars like donkeys do. It's not as prominent on a dun, but they will be there. And of course they'll have have zebra striping on their legs, and there's a few, there's not a lot of them. They'll actually have what's called cobwebbing on their foreheads, and you'll see that, and it's just darker shades, and it just kind of spreads out around it. It's really unique. I've only just recently seen it myself. Um, but we do not have any palominos, any cremellos, no whites. We do not have the cream gene whatsoever within the breed. No grays. No. What I've recently noticed is that bays tend to have a gray muzzle, however, and it's just something I've started noticing with them. But absolutely no grays whatsoever. So let's see. They have fabulous feet in general. My farrier was, someone asked me a question from my farrier a couple months ago. Like, what's so great about the Marsh Tacky? Before I could open my mouth, farriers, their feet. Most of them have what we refer to as a suction cup foot. So the frog actually sits higher than if you've got quarter horses, thoroughbreds, they have more of that flat foot, where the frog is sitting on the ground. Some of them don't all have that suction cup, but that's quite common. Shoes are rare in the Marsh Tacky world unless you just really, really do a lot of riding on rocky ground and things like that. They do have excellent feet. Let's see. They're an extremely level-headed horse. We tend to refer to them as thinking horses. If they spook, it's a very quick little spook, and then they're going to turn and face whatever. Not always the case. I had bruises last year to prove that. But we think there was a predator in the woods, and my mare was like, I'm getting out of here. Yes, she promptly launched me right out of the saddle and said, see ya. But anyway, they're an intelligent horse, and and everybody has their favorite breeds, and but there's something different about them. It's really hard to put into words. At my farm, I own 3 Marsh Tackies, a non-Marsh Tacky, which is half quarter horse, half Swedish warm blood mare. We came in a package deal with the Marsh Tackies, and aboard a Tennessee walking horse, another Marsh Tacky, and just recently what we believe is a pony of the Americas. The Marsh Tackies rule the pasture. The Marsh Tackies know other Marsh Tackies. You will see the 4 Marsh Tackies hanging out together. They dominate the hay hut until they're done with it, and then everybody else can come in. They have a much stronger feral instinct. And like my mare Carolina, even though she never came from feral stock per se at some point in time, yes, she did. But most of today's Marsh Tackies are at best 3 generations removed from feral stock. So they're very much like Mustangs. They watch everything. They keep an eye on everything. I've had to warn people about puppies and dogs. Like, don't let your dog in that pasture. My mare she has warned me more than one time that something was around us. They pay attention. They sense it. They know it's out there, and if you're paying attention, they'll let you know. I grew up with one, and he was very much that way when we would be trail riding, and other horses had been down the trail. He would drop his head, and he would scent the trail just like a hound dog would, because he could sense other horses had been down the trail. And there's a little gelding. That's my mare Allie right there, who's 11 and a half right now. This gelding Sonny, he's on my farm, and he does that exact same thing. Now we're riding on my same trails, but if there's a manure pile, he's going to reach down and he's going to scent that manure pile. So I see a lot of similarities with him. So anyway, we've been doing a good job of getting the word out. People are learning about them, and they're beginning to branch out. Whereas mainly it was like, oh, they're good in the woods. Like, well, hog hunting is not going to get our numbers up. And I've been saying this since I learned or got involved with them again in 2007. I went 16 years after I lost Apache, where I didn't have a horse. And I thought I would never see another Marsh tacky. And in 2007, I'm visiting my dad, and I look over, and those of us that are on the electric cooperative, we get that monthly magazine. And I look over, and there's this magazine sitting here, and there's this bay dun mare and a little bay dun colt beside it. What is this? And I read the little tagline, and I open it up, and it's all about the Marsh tackies and trying to make them a South Carolina state heritage horse. Find an email, send an email the next day, because honestly, I thought I would never see another one. And that's what got me back involved. Took me a few more years before I got Miss Allie, who was up there, when I got back to a point to where I could have horses again. And now I have 3 more tackies. 4-year-old, 11.5-year-old, and 21-year-old.
Question?
Yes.
Where did the name come from?
That's a good question. The general consensus is that the term tacky, it was kind of a British thing that just mainly meant common. So because they were just running around and because they were running in the low country marshes, they just became referred to as marsh tackies. It used to, if you find the reference to them in old literature, it will be spelled Tacky. They throw an E in there. I wish we still spelled it that way, because then it would differentiate it from the word tacky in the way most of us know it, what the word tacky means. Interesting note on that is I'm in a group on Facebook that's got people from all over the world, and a lady brought up about the horses in Mongolia, and they are referred to as tackies, spelled slightly different, but pronounced exactly the same way. So, is there a link? I don't know. I just find it odd that a halfway world, around this globe, that there's another breed of horse that is commonly referred to as a tacky as well. Yeah. Great question. I had thought to put that in here. So, with the increased popularity, they are now, and there is a photo of one of them in here. Cowboy mounted shooting has become very popular. We have a number of people competing in that. They are beginning to break into the endurance scene again, which they should be awesome for. Endurance, hunter jumper, fox hunting, cow work, speed events. I do want to show you one quick thing though. A study was done by Mississippi State University to determine if the marsh tackies were gated. They are not. What they are, and this is the little gelding that's on my farm. If y'all can see that, there's a better photo. You'll notice in this trot, his hind foot is on the ground. The front foot, you can see that the toe has not impacted yet. That is referred to as diagonal advanced placement. A truly skilled, advanced level dressage horse will do that, because that is indicative that they have, horses naturally bear their weight on their front end. When they're doing that, they are properly collected and they transfer their weight to their back end. These marsh tackies are doing this naturally. And if you think about it, where they've been roaming for 500 years in marshy, boggy land, they had to get their weight off their front end to be able to get through that, to power through it. And that is what they are doing. There's one more here. Let me show you. Cancel. In this photo, you can see it even better, because you can see the impact in the sand on the hind foot, and on the front foot, you can see that foot has not touched that sand yet. You can see the full shadow. Okay, move on. All right, the Marsh Tacky Association, we are a not-for-profit 501c3 membership based. We work to promote, protect, preserve the breed. We do work with other charities, organizations. If they are putting on an event, they invite us to come in. We recently held a Gymkhana fun show at Croft on Halloween weekend. We had 40 horses present, 15 of them were Marsh tackies. Everybody had a blast. It was great, and we plan to have more. And of course, you can find us on Facebook. We do have a website, seriously out of date. I apologize, but it's marshtacky.info. And what I say about these horses is that their hearts and courage are bigger than they are. So, any questions?
We bought a bunch of them.
Yes, these two ladies have done an awesome job. That thing, you can't have just one tacky and like Lay's potato chips.
Try
Yeah. They've totally bought into that, and they keep trying to talk me into buying more. I got three, two of which are not being
Basically,
used.
what is happening is, so his grandson is in there now, and they only want to keep about 8 brood mares on the property, and they are selling everything unsolved. And the worry of the association is that these horses will start disappearing. Because it was close to, like, this time last year, it was 60
we
head.
counted, yeah, about 50, between 50 and 60 horses that were still in the car.
So now, I think what we were down there last weekend, 30 maybe. And so it's, it is worrisome where are they going, and hopefully it's great people who are going to take care of them.
Don't you have somebody up in Anderson area?
MJ Goodwin, Blackberry Ridge Farm. The stallion that had the black background, that is her stallion, that's CMTO Jack Friday, who I've personally ridden. His sire, DP, who was in the video and was in some of the photos and in the video that was trotting that had the brand on it, that is Jack Friday's sire, DP, who I've also ridden. My mare, Alejandra, is a DP daughter, and I also have a DP grandson.
So I have to say something just real quickly. In the pictures, the horse with his mouth wide open, looking at going after the cow, that is not me pulling on him, I will tell you. His mouth is open because when he gets on cows, he bites them. That's him going to bite the cow, not me pulling on him. I just wanted to say that because it looks really bad.
Everybody's putting a disclaimer on photos on social media
I know, it's
anymore,
a minute.
right?
This one?
That one.
Yeah.
So that's not me. You see my razor blade? I'm not pulling on him. That is him getting ready to bite.
He is mad because that cow is getting away from him. And I saw that, I named him T-Bone.
Yeah, so I'm an old event runner, and I bought this Marsh Tacky, and I was like, he is miserable with this. He hates dressage. He hates arena work. What am I going to do with him? And I thought, I think we'll try cows. He's an awesome little cow horse. Like, just.
And an interesting note, she bought him, being told he was a Marsh Tacky. Paperwork didn't come with him. It took me 2 years, and I finally tracked him down. And I sent her a text. I found him. What do you mean? I found him. I didn't realize that he was registered.
I think something also for this group to know is I have a Jack Friday son who is a very much a Spanish colonial looking horse. So if you like the Baroque type, but maybe you're not quite a Frisian fan, or these horses have a lot of heart. They can be very fancy movers.
That's Jack.
My passion and background is classical dressage. I'm a dressage nerd, so when we start talking about the positive dissociation and the movement, I'm all about that. So I'm really curious to see what these guys can do. I think they would be awesome adult amateur prospects because they're fancy enough, but they've got movement that's rideable, they're sensible. I love warm bloods. I have a few, but I've always been the person who I don't always compete with the typical breed. And I went with big horses when I was younger, and now I'm kind of going smaller again. So I'm really excited to see what they can do. I'm in the upstate of South Carolina, right outside of the Pendleton area. Pendleton, Quantico.
This was a photo I took at an event a few years ago. We call it the fox hunter and the hog hunter. That Marsh Tacky, it's you can get a little closer, you can notice he's kind of looking down. I think he was like, hey, all those feathers on your legs.
Well, that was awesome. Does anybody else have any questions about the Marsh Tackies? Now's our opportunity with these ladies here at our disposal.
I do have an observation though. Whoever did your closed captioning on this thing is definitely a Yankee.
Yeah, for sure.
Close cat. Oh, yeah. That one I think was automatic. That was not closed captioning with the video. That was something. That was the technology. That's me.
everybody pull out their raffle tickets because I know everyone's anxious to get home. And ready, Aaron? You guys got your tickets up?
If you are interested in any prospects, contact Caroline because we still have some more young horses that if anybody
Okay,
needs.
super. And we'll present them on our website too at whittlesridingclub.org. We'll put something that I link to the website.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, the first number is
Number is 6829478. 6829478.
alright.
Okay. Take two. Number is 68. Wait, what? You have the same one in there.
Maybe this is the same. You didn't get a ticket?
No, it's the same one.
The same number,
Alright.
67.
There you go. So now you two don't have the same one anymore?
I got 78.
You know I did. How that works. Sorry.
Next one. 6829511. Yay! All right, next one. Next one is 6829473.
Yeah.
Four
I
six.
won again. I was keeping Karen's first. But I'm happy to give it to somebody else here. You take this. There you go.
She won! Yay!
Karen had to leave.
So we were holding 2 tickets and we were very embarrassed.
You sound embarrassed.
Wait a minute. Are we going to get over that route?
It's kind of like it's a game, right?
Next ticket is 6829483. 483.
Actually, thank you for there. Happy horse showing.
Next